G'day, I'm Alister Christie and I'm from LearnDelphi.tv, and I'm on the line with Nick Hodges.
Hello.
G'day.
Good day.
And how are you today?
I'm doing pretty well. Nice relaxing Sunday for me.
Okay.
But we'll be back at developing our app in Delphi tomorrow.
Okay, cool. And what are you working on?
Well, we're working on actually transitioning off of Bitbucket into Azure DevOps and Azure repos, because that's one of the big projects we're doing, and we have 5 million lines of Delphi code. So migrating all that Delphi code and all those branches and all those tags and everything like that has been quite a challenge.
Okay.
Bitbucket stopped supporting Mercurial, which is what we were using, and we are switching over to Git. So that's been a bit of a struggle to get our repository into Git and out of Mercurial with all of its history intact.
Okay. And what was the reasoning for shifting to Azure?
Bitbucket was discontinuing support for Mercurial.
That kind of sounds a little bit circular in that you're dropping Mercurial at the same time, but
well, we probably would not have had Mercurial not push the issue, or Bitbucket pushed the issue with dropping support for Mercurial. They told us, or they said in their statement, that 1% of all new repos on Bitbucket are started with Mercurial.
Okay.
So I guess to me that they need to spend a lot of time and effort to keep up with GitHub, and if they have to do it for Mercurial and for Bitbucket and for Git on Bitbucket, they're not going to be able to do that. So I think as of June 30th, they are going to make all repositories in Mercurial read-only.
That would be problematic for
yes, it would.
Staying up to date.
Yes, it would.
Yeah, I've used Git a little bit. I'm certainly not very good with it, but I've not used Mercurial at all.
You're a Subversion guy?
Yeah, mostly. Yeah, most of my development is one person, so sort of the distributed development's not really too much of an issue. But I've been trying to use Git a little bit.
Well, it is the dominant source control system in the world right now. There's no doubt about that. So
yeah,
I mean, GitHub has got millions and millions of users, and so we're trying to keep up, trying to modernize our system, doing what we can.
Yes, it can be a bit of a challenge keeping up with tools at times. Yeah, the language that you're using.
That's not saying not saying much actually, because or it is saying a lot actually. Yes, it is a challenge, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. Small number of words for a big problem.
Yes, indeed. So we do some C# as well. We do API development in C#, REST API development in C#, and we've been using Azure repos for a while and Azure DevOps for a while on that side. And so we're going to migrate all of our Delphi stuff over as well. So we're looking forward to that.
Okay.
And we have 25 Delphi developers here at Gateway Ticketing.
That's quite a few.
Yeah.
So what does Gateway Ticketing do?
We make ticketing systems and admission control solutions for amusement parks, attractions, museums, zoos, things like that. Chances are you've been to some facility, scanned a ticket and gone through one of our turnstiles somewhere in the world.
Do you know of any in New Zealand that run Gateway?
Off the top of my head, I do not, but if there is one, I bet we do. So we have a strong showing down under in Australia, and I wouldn't be surprised if New Zealand doesn't have a amusement park or a zoo or something that uses our solution.
Yeah, don't have much in the way of amusement parks. We have a few zoos.
Never know.
So,
yeah,
but yeah, I'd have to look that up at some point. It'd be interesting to know.
Good, yeah.
What's your role there?
I'm a software development manager. I manage a team of 13 developers.
Okay.
Ranging from beginning developers who do automation development up to senior developers who lead and provide technical leadership to our team.
Okay, excellent.
Mm-hmm.
So have you been onboarding new developers? Well, obviously not lately, but
not
the last few weeks. But.
Not in the last 2 months. But yeah, actually that's not true. I onboarded a new Delphi developer remotely about 4 weeks ago.
Oh, okay.
And I'm starting another one on May 18th. We've created a bunch of new Delphi developers in the last 2 or 3 years here at Gateway. We like to hire early career folks that are just graduating from college, and we teach them Delphi, we teach them C#, we teach them automated testing development, and when they get very, very proficient at that, we promote them into the development team for our main product, which is called Galaxy. So we've christened a bunch of new Delphi developers, and our license count has increased probably by 5 or 6 licenses over the last 3 years. So we're doing our part to expand the Delphi universe. Yeah.
Yeah, indeed. And what's sort of your process for getting people trained up in Delphi?
Mostly we peer-to-peer training. We do some group training and things like that, but mostly we provide them with a senior mentor who can answer their questions. We send them to Marco's books and some other books and things. My books.
Hopefully your own as well, yeah.
Mine are a little more advanced than for the beginning.
Yeah, true.
But we do a good job, and I can think of 3 team members that have become full-fledged, full-time Delphi developers after having never seen Delphi when they showed up on their first day here. So
yeah, that's good. I think it's sensible to hire talent and then train them up in the language rather than finding someone
absolutely
who knows the language and then trying to make them talented.
We've hired a number of experienced Delphi developers in the last 2 years, but by far the most gratifying is to train up a brand new, fresh out of school developer, or someone beginning their career as a developer, as a new Delphi developer. That's very gratifying.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, you changed jobs a few times in the last sort of five or 6 years, and
I have, yes.
Yeah, no, I have as well. And,
yeah.
But they've not really. Those positions are all haven't really hired new developers. Delphi trained up Delphi developers. They tried to hire people who could program in Delphi and then kind of just let them loose.
Mm-hmm.
Which is not necessarily the best strategy, but
no, not necessarily. Depends, Some people you can do that with, some people you can't. It's challenging. Finding Delphi developers here in the States in particular has been a bit of a challenge, but we have done a pretty good job, I think, of hiring some talent, and we've been very pleased with the people we've gotten.
Oh, good. Yeah. Speaking with Malcolm Groves, and he's been hiring people all over the world, so he's got quite a few of his team that he's never met in person. So,
fortunately,
quite interesting.
Fortunately or unfortunately, we can only hire Americans, or people, I should say, people who can legally work in the United States.
Okay.
We don't have the facilities or the capabilities to support worldwide, but that would make it a lot easier. I can tell you that. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I will say that remote work has just been not a problem for us with COVID-19, because we already know how to work remotely with people around the country, and so it's been good. We've done real well. We continue to write good code even though we're all sitting in our homes, and leveraging the tools that we come to know, like Microsoft Teams and Skype and things like that.
Yeah, I mean, like 20 years ago, that would have been very challenging.
Oh, it would have been practically impossible.
For internet connections and not really the online facilities like GitHub and things like that make distributed working possible.
Yeah, the internet has saved a lot of jobs this time around. That's for sure. Saved the jobs at my company. Like you said, 20 years ago, we would not have been able to continue to maintain everybody all working and everybody, plugging away and being productive, even though we're not in the office together. I think it's going to have a profound impact worldwide on the notion of remote work and things like that. So.
Yeah, here in New Zealand, there's been a huge push over the last it's about 5 years to get fibre into the home.
Oh,
There's a
really?
large percentage of the country has fibre.
Oh, wow.
Which,
That's
yeah,
fantastic.
yeah. So I think the government's probably very pleased about their decision to invest in that.
Yeah,
That's
that's
probably
good.
saved the economy billions of dollars in people being able to work from home.
Yeah, I have fiber to my house, which is very nice. But not everybody, it's almost pure luck that my house is covered by the Verizon fiber network. Certainly, a very low percentage of the United States is covered by fiber. I'd say cable TV wires and old telephone wires are the most ubiquitous wires here in the United
Yep.
States. And
Okay.
that's where most of the internet travels. I would say over cable, probably 9/10 of it.
Yeah, I live
9/10 of the high
rurally,
speed.
so but fortunately there was a cabinet, a telecommunications cabinet just on the edge of our property, so we get very good VDSL.
Oh,
but,
really?
No fiber.
Oh,
So
no fiber yet where
yeah,
you
so
are?
I get about sort of somewhere between 80 and 90 megabit down, which
Oh,
is
okay.
pretty good, sort of 30-ish up. So I
Nothing to blow
certainly,
your nose at.
yeah, no, it's really, really good. And considering I live in the country, it's,
Even
can't complain
better.
about that at all.
Yeah, yeah.
We probably should talk about your books a little bit. You've got
Talk
3 of
about
them.
them? Okay. I do have 3
Uh,
Delphi books. Yes.
yeah, so Coding in Delphi, More Coding in Delphi, and Dependency Injection in Delphi.
Right.
All 3 of which I've read, and I'd highly
Thank you.
recommend any
Thank you
developer,
very much.
Delphi developer to read. They're quite excellent. Nice, nice and short and targeted, which makes them easy.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much. I just lowered the prices on them today.
Yeah, I was just looking at your codingindelphi.com blog.
Yep.
There, and saw that.
Yep. And
so
they're I think the books are the Coding in Delphi and More Coding in Delphi are now, I want to say, $14.99.
Let's have a look.
I'd have to look.
Yes,
and then
$14.99.
Dependency Injection is $9.99. So those are permanent bargain basement prices. So if you haven't gotten my books yet, now's the time.
Yeah, indeed.
Interestingly, here's something interesting about them. I keep track monthly. Kindle, the Kindle Direct Publishing and LeanPub do a good job of keeping track of my sales for me, and I can figure out how I'm doing per month. And interestingly, my #1 selling book is still Coding in Delphi, the first one. So there's a large cadre of folks out there who have bought Coding in Delphi, but haven't bought More Coding in Delphi or Dependency Injection in Delphi. So if you've bought Coding in Delphi, there's 2 more books out there, and you enjoyed it. There's 2 more books out there you can buy that are of that same genre and speed and type and value, I think, obviously.
Yes. Yeah.
So I would encourage folks to get that 2nd and 3rd book.
So I mean, they're very much focused on writing better code.
Yes.
So, yeah, I mean, one of the reasons I've been wanting to talk to you is regarding your experiences publishing your books. I'm about to publish my first one. So, and I haven't decided. I'm kind of leaning towards Kindle Direct publishing at the moment, and I've been playing around with that.
All right, I can tell you what I do.
Yeah.
Here's what I did. I published my book first on leanpub.com. I wrote it in markup. I used the special markup language that they have, excuse me, as part of their tool, and that produced for me my PDFs, and I sell them electronically on LeanPub. And then they also have the feature of what they call a print-ready version of the PDF that they can produce.
Mm-hmm.
And I took that print-ready PDF and designed a cover. My wife designed a cover and the covers, and put the covers in as well. That was actually the hardest part of writing the book, of publishing the book, I should say, was getting the cover right, because you have to get the right thickness on the spine based on the width of the pages, the number of pages.
Okay.
But they help you figure that out. The tooling helps you figure that out. But I found that LeanPub was the easiest way to actually get the book into the correct PDF form. And so LeanPub helps
Okay.
me sell electronic books. They publish the PDF, the MOBI, and the EPUB versions. And I think they'll even publish it to HTML if you ask. And then they produce the PDF that enables me to go to Kindle Publishing and submit that to Kindle Publishing for sale on Amazon worldwide as well.
Okay.
What did you have in mind? What were you thinking of doing?
So I thought I might try and get the so I downloaded the Kindle Create application.
Oh, okay.
And after a bit of cajoling, I managed to get my book imported into it.
Mm-hmm.
It was I spent there was I had a table of keyboard shortcuts, and I think the Kindle has a limit to 50 rows in its.
So
I just split it up into sections. It's not a problem. It took me a while to work out that was the cause of the issue.
It can be pretty persnickety. Yes, that's no doubt about that.
Yeah, but it also so it kept the syntax highlighting of the code samples, but all the fonts are all one font. It didn't convert.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so that's probably going to be the biggest pain, is to convert all the fonts over to back to consolless, which is what I was using for the code samples, and throughout the code. There's little, every time I mention a type or something like that, I have that in monospaced.
Sure. Yeah.
Which makes it easier to read sometimes, because it's a bit of a challenge. all the formatting with bold and italics and that kind of stuff all came through. It's just the fonts that didn't.
It didn't make the monospace fonts. Okay.
Yeah. So, but there might be some way of tagging them in Word. So I've written it in Google Docs, so I can have people go through and edit it fairly easily. Lots of people simultaneously, kind of thing. I remember you did that with coding in Delphi. I remember working on that one a little. I had a few suggestions that got accepted, which is cool.
Thank you.
So, yeah. And yeah, I've had quite a few people now volunteer to read it. And yeah, it's evolved a bit based on their suggestions.
Good.
Which has been excellent.
Good. What's the working title?
So the first book, so it's 2 books. The first book is Code Faster in Delphi. And that's all about how to get your code written faster.
Oh, good. Okay.
So all keyboard shortcuts and tools, using multi-paste and
IDE tips and tricks.
CN wizards and GExperts, Model Mega Code Explorer. It's quite a lot of even basics like touch typing. I mean, the number of developers I see doing the hunt and peck, which is just every time I do it. If I'm holding, I've got a new baby. He's now 6.5 months old. And if I'm holding him and typing on the keyboard, it's so slow typing one-handed. It's frustrating. The difference between touch typing is just amazing. So I think I've certainly been taking my ability to touch type for granted. I think quite a lot. Yeah,
the 10th grade class I took in 10th grade to learn how to type was easily the most valual course I ever took in high school.
Yeah, likewise. It was geared towards secretarial work, more or less, but it's back in the day. So kind of learning to type on really
IBM
old clunky electronic keyboards.
Yeah,
I can't remember what they were.
I learned to type on typewriters, IBM Selectrics, with the little spinning ball that popped around.
Yeah, I would have been 10 or 11.
We didn't have computers then.
Yeah.
I'm old.
Yeah, to do. Yeah. Yeah, certainly. But there's this. It's good to see there's quite a few younger Delphi developers around again.
Oh yeah.
Which is good.
I think
apparently just me getting older, because I used to go to Delphi events and I'd be the youngest person there. But the last few I've been to, it's not been the case anymore, which is
Yeah.
Partly because I'm older, and partly because there are new
I
developers.
I think the community edition's been really good for that too. People being able to use
Yeah.
the full product for free has been a very good move. You know, matching Microsoft's system as well, which I think is important. So that's good.
I think I mean, it was to be competitive. I think there had to be a free version that was very capable, and the licensing is quite good as well. You have to make a certain, you're allowed to make a certain amount of money before you have to buy the full version, which is good.
Excuse me.
So allow you to make some money to be able to pay for it.
Yep, there you go, and not too much. Free is a good price for a entry-level software development tool.
Yes.
And so.
Yeah. So hopefully, we'll get more people learning Delphi rather than Python or C#.
Oh, Python. Yeah. JavaScript.
JavaScript. I mean, it's not a bad language, but there's quite broken in many ways compared to something like Delphi. That's properly.
I've been doing a lot of TypeScript programming, which I've really enjoyed. And of course, there's a common lineage there with Anders being lead developer for. Yeah. But yeah. So I still think Delphi is a great tool for learning and for developing. I mean, it's a very powerful, broad-ranging, easy-to-use tool.
Yeah, no, I think Delphi is Pascal in general is a very sensible language to learn to program with.
Well, that's what it was designed for. So
originally,
anyway. Yeah.
As we have Nicholas Worth to thank for that, I think. So,
yes, I think we do.
Yeah.
I think that's
actually, I should try and get to talk to him. If he's sure he's still alive. So
he is still alive, I believe.
Yeah.
And he's still writing. I think he just published another volume of his copious, big, thick volume of books. I think he just published a new one. If I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong about that. So,
yes.
Yeah.
I know that's the thing with Donald Knuth as well. That
Knuth was the one. Knuth is the one that wrote the book.
Yeah. And the big worry he's going to die before he finishes.
Yeah.
Finishes it. But yeah, it's one of the. I've been wanting to buy. I can't remember what it's called now, but the book by Donald Knuth books for quite some time. But it's a matter of having time to read them because they're quite substantial and
it's not cheap either.
Complicated. Yeah, they're expensive. But they're quite nice hardbound books. So
it's a good book to have on your shelf and to read.
Yeah, no, they last forever because I mean they're the fundamental principles of programming.
Oh yeah.
Rather than
absolutely.
Something that's a bit more contemporary.
I have a coworker that reads him for fun. That's his idea of fun, is reading Knuth. Got him on his desk. I've been trying to do a little bit more reading again. I'm reading quite a short book at the moment, about halfway through it, Code Simplicity. Oh, that's a good book.
Yeah.
That's a very nice book.
Yeah, it's published by O'Reilly.
Yeah, it's only, about 90 pages or something? It's not very long.
Yeah, probably get through it in a couple of hours or an hour or something.
Yeah, I recommend that, yeah. I recommend people buy my books, of course, but
yeah, absolutely.
If they're looking for something else to buy, Code Simplicity is actually a pretty good read, and it's not that long, yeah. Yes,
and quite accessible as well. It's not overly technical or anything like that. So
no, yeah, it is. So yeah, I was gonna add on to the notion of publishing and writing a book. Everybody thinks publishing is the hard part. Publishing was probably 5% of the effort, 3% of the effort. Actually, writing the book is the hard part. That's what is really, really hard. Yeah. Is writing and proofreading and rereading again the book. Publishing the book yourself is both way more profitable and pretty easy to do. It's not that challenging. I was very surprised how easy it was to do the first time. And then, of course, once you do it once, the second and third time is very simple.
Indeed.
Writing writing the book is the hard part. Publishing a book, don't be afraid of writing a book because you don't think you could publish it yourself. And you make a lot more money when you publish it yourself.
Yes.
Or at least
it's
per book.
And if it's a Delphi book, I mean, the Delphi community is quite small in terms of, it's accessible. It's
yes.
not like,
yeah, so I don't have a hard time marketing my books, and nor will you. I mean, everybody knows you, and you're a well-known developer in the community, and the word of mouth, and people asking, hey, I want to buy a Delphi book, and then people telling everybody what to buy and stuff. So that's been really good.
So what are your strategies for marketing?
Blog about it every once in a while, and I don't know. I'm not very good at marketing, so I have to figure out a way.
Me neither. So this is another. So the other aspect to the self-publishing, I'm a bit nervous about the marketing side of it.
Oh yeah, well,
but
I figure if the money you make on self-publishing is a couple of maybe an order of magnitude more than what you make when you publish with a publishing house, and I figure in the Delphi world I was well enough known, and that people would spread the word via word of mouth, that I didn't need to go with a traditional publisher, which probably worked out well for me. But I figure I only have to be 1/10 as good as the marketer as the publishing house is.
True.
And I'm still breaking even. And I'm my own boss. I run my own company in terms of publishing books and things like that. I don't have to answer to anybody else in terms of style and form and substance and things like that. So it works out well.
Excellent. Have you any desire to write more books?
If you could come up with a good topic for me, I would consider it. Yeah, I actually considered Go ahead.
I was thinking like solid Delphi. So apply the solid principles to Delphi code.
Yeah.
Would probably be quite good.
I was thinking about writing a rad server book as well.
Okay. David I has got.
Has David I written?
Yeah.
Oh, he has. Okay. That's right.
Too late on that one.
Oh well. Okay. Never mind then.
There might be room for two, but it's pretty. Yeah. But yeah, I think his one's basically free. I think Embarcadero commissioned him to write it. But he's got a course on Embarcadero Academy on it.
Yeah, you're on there too.
Yes. A lot.
Good. That's great.
So it's not been overly profitable, but it's been this money comes in every month, so that's pretty good.
I still sell. I wrote coding in Delphi 6 years ago, and it still sells. So I figure I'm doing something. I did something right. So
okay, must have been ADUG 2016 that we met in person.
I think so.
In that case. Yeah.
That sounds right.
Yeah, because I remember you signed a copy of Coding in Delphi for me.
Well, I was honored to do so. It was my pleasure and honor to do.
ADUG had bought a number of physical copies, and there was one left, so I snatched it up.
Very cool. Good. Very good. That's good. No, I enjoyed that trip to Australia. I've been to Australia, I think, 3 times. Never New Zealand though. I need to get to New Zealand one of these years.
Yeah, no. If you want a place to stay in New Zealand, we can put you in our B&B.
That sounds great.
We've got a cottage.
We've got a cottage.
Yeah.
Is it on Airbnb?
Yep.
Right. There you go.
ecofarmstaynz.com.
Eco Farmstay. Very good.
Yeah, ecofarmstaynz.com is the. Oh no, hang on, ecofarmstay.nz. Hang on, let me check that.
So if anyone traveling to New Zealand needs to
yes, ecofarmstay.nz.
That's .nz for you.
.nz, yeah.
For you New Zealand non-New Zealanders, yeah. So I can see somebody typing NZED.
Yeah. True. But yeah, so So we've been doing that for a while, and we just started renovating that before we put a huge deck on it and a separate shower. And COVID-19 came along, and that's all now not finished.
Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, that's all right. And it's not like we're going to get any guests during that time anyway, so it's not a big deal.
Tell me about the shirt you've got on.
So it's just a Delphi shirt, Embarcadero.
Very nice.
They would have sent me at some point. I have 2 of them.
That's an MVP shirt, right?
I presume so. I presume it's related to that at some point. It doesn't say MVP on it, I don't think. No.
Oh, all right. Well, looks good. It's sharp. I like it.
Yeah.
I like the new logo, the new icon. So that's good.
Yeah, so I've had it for years, so it's not.
Oh, okay. Well, never mind.
Yeah, I think the last one I got was the Delphi Rio. It had all the ones and zeros with the using the IO for.
That's right.
Yeah.
So when is your book? When are you going to publish your book? Do you think?
Soon. It's probably 95% written now. I need someone to write the foreword. So if you want to volunteer for that, that'd be cool.
I'd be honored.
Okay, I'll send you a link. I mean, to the book, so you can at least read it.
Very good.
I haven't read this book. I'm sure it's great. So yeah, okay, I'll do that. So there's a little bit of stuff at the end I need to write, and I also want to add and because it covers so many topics. At the end of each section, I have a further learning bit.
Okay.
And I need to write appropriate stuff for that.
So yours is very IDE focused then? Is that the idea?
Probably about half. Half of it is on the IDE. And there's, I sort of talk about interface, sort of the language in terms of language features would be interfaces, generics, and anonymous methods.
The 3 most important.
What's that?
The 3 of the most important features. Yeah.
Yeah, the sort of recent. Not interfaces aren't exactly recent, but I suppose in 2009 they came in, but anonymous methods and generics.
Interfaces were Delphi 3.
It might be Delphi 2 actually.
Delphi 3, I think was COM.
3. Yeah, COM, added COM. That's right. Yeah, no, I think you are right.
But I think it took a good 10 or 12 years for people to actually start appreciating and using interfaces without COM. Without.
Yes.
Without thinking in terms of it has to be used with COM.
Based on the sort of legacy code bases that I've worked on, they're
yes.
still not.
True enough. Yeah, true enough.
But yeah, but also talk about like regular expressions and things like that.
Oh, really?
Because with just a few lines of code, doing string manipulation, it just makes a massive difference. I mean, the amount of code you have to manually write to do it, and to write the equivalent of a regular expression is horrific.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So yeah, making use of those can save a lot of time.
Powerful but difficult.
Difficult, yeah. They're pretty hard. Often it takes me quite a long time to write. I'll spend longer writing the regular expression than solving the actual problem. I'm certainly getting better at it, so that's good. And writing this book has helped a bit as well.
One of the world leaders in regular expressions, and the guy who wrote using regular expressions for O'Reilly is a Delphi developer.
Yeah, that's true.
And I don't want to try and say his name because I'll probably say it wrong, but I think it's Jan Govertz.
Yes. Yeah, that sounds about right.
So he wrote a tool called Regex Buddy, and it's written in Delphi.
Okay.
And it's a very powerful tool.
I mentioned it in the book, but I have to mention that it's written in Delphi. I haven't done that.
So. It is that's a Delphi application. Absolutely. And he actually when I was at Embarcadero, I helped integrate irregular expressions into the product, and it was his code that we used and leveraged to make that happen.
Ah, cool.
Yeah, his open source code, which was really great. So, yeah, regular expressions.
Yes.
My joke about regular expressions is, if you have a problem and you think to yourself, oh, I can solve this with regular expressions, now you have two problems.
Yes.
I shouldn't joke. Regular expressions are cool and powerful and useful.
Yeah, and also you can use them in other tools to do large-scale code manipulation.
Mm-hmm.
Do intelligent search and replace in code.
Oh yeah.
And I have a really simple example of converting all the // comments into curly bracket comments.
Oh really? Okay.
It's really really trivial to do.
I bet. Yeah.
So
yeah.
But
nice.
Yeah. But you can imagine, I mean, it's like, I don't know, 10 bytes of code or something like that to do that. And if you wrote that in Pascal,
a parser alone would be,
yeah. Even if you kind of not parse the code and just search for // and put a curly bracket at the beginning and replace that, put a curly bracket at the end, put a curly bracket at the end of the line.
Yeah, no doubt.
Still complicated, but yeah.
Well, cool. That's good. I'm excited to see your book.
Okay.
I'd be honored to see a copy, and if you would want me to write a foreword for it, I'd be very honored to do so.
Okay. Excellent. That'd be fantastic. I'd very much appreciate that.
Good.
Particularly as from someone who's written such good books. That'd be really cool.
Well, thank you.
I think Marco is the most prolific book writer for Delphi.
Yeah, probably. He's written many books.
I think he said he's written more than 20, but he's lost count. So
wow. He was one of the original authors too. I think he wrote a Delphi 1 book.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure his first Mastering Delphi book was Mastering Delphi 1. Yeah. So.
I think I had Mastering Delphi 3, and then 7 and 2005. I think 2005 was the last one that he wrote.
Oh, really? Okay. Then he started the handbooks, because then he started the handbook series.
Yes. The 2009, 2010, and XE
handbooks. Yeah.
So, what if someone was getting started with Delphi, what books would you recommend? You can think of any.
The first book I'd recommend would be Marco's Object Pascal Handbook, to learn the language really well. And to learn sort of the environment and the VCL. I mean, any of Marco's books, even though they're for older versions, would get you 95% of the way there.
The VCL has been extremely stable. I mean, you'd miss out on some of the newer controls and theming and things like that.
And then, of course, I'd always recommend that a Delphi developer read Danny Thorpe's book, Delphi Component Design.
Okay.
Which is very hard to come by.
Not sure that I've read it.
Oh, yeah. It's brilliant. It was probably written around Delphi 2 or 3's time, but it's still all very true, very insightful. And, Danny's one of the smartest guys on the face of the planet, so his books are terrific.
Yeah.
His writing is very clear and succinct. And even today, that book would be very, very useful to a burgeoning Delphi developer, for sure. Although it's very hard to come by because people like it so much they don't put it on the used market, and it hasn't been published. It hasn't been printed in many years. It's been out of print for many years. I have a personally autographed copy, which I will not be parting with.
Yeah, indeed, fair enough. Yeah, I mean, I'd certainly recommend the Object Pascal Handbook.
Yeah.
Possibly also XE2 Foundations by Chris Rolliston.
Oh, yes, that is an excellent book. That is a very good book.
And it's an excellent book, but no one really mentions it so much. I don't feel people really have sort of, I don't know, appreciate it.
I agree.
For
he
what it
would
is.
do well to reissue that as just sort of Delphi Essentials, and not have XE2 in there, because I think people see XE2 and they go, "Ah, that book's outdated." It is not outdated.
Yeah, no, I learned heaps from that book.
Even today. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, because it's hard to keep up with all the, I say the new changes and what have you to the RTL.
Yeah,
it covers
it's
the RTL
very.
quite a lot.
I was going to say it's very runtime library specific, which is very, very important. It reminds me a lot of the Delphi Handbook by Ray Lerschner that O'Reilly published many years ago. If you recall that book.
No.
Yeah, O'Reilly published a Delphi book. I know you're surprised, but this was probably
no, Delphi in a nutshell.
I'm sorry,
Is
you're right.
Is that one?
Delphi.
Okay.
Yes, yeah. I'm sorry, I misstated the title. Yeah,
Yes.
Delphi in a nutshell is very, very good too, for a good rundown on the runtime library and the very low-level basics of how Delphi works. That's an excellent book, and it's still true. Much of it is still true today, even though it probably doesn't. It doesn't cover some of the modern language features, but it's still very good for baseline, low-level. Runtime library level kind of work. So
yeah, indeed. Yeah, I hate to think, if you were to write a book like a mastering Delphi book that covered huge most of Delphi, at least give you a start in it. To do that now, you're looking at something over 1,000 pages. It would be
easily a couple thousand
crazy
pages if you wanted to. If you wanted to go in depth as Marco did with his Mastering Delphi series, with the current version, it would be 3,000 pages long. Absolutely, it's crazy. Yeah. You have to have specialized books that cover specific topics of what's in the box, because it's just so astonishingly thorough and deep and broad now. I mean, you can't write a single book about everything that it does. So.
It's
it would
too
never
big
get
an
shipped.
undertaking for one person.
It would be a couple 3,000 pages. I'm serious. It would. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I fully agree with you. It would be. I mean, the mastering books, I think they were up around the 600 mark.
Oh yeah.
So
and that's for a product that, a version that is much simpler. Like much less feature rich, and
I think
much less capable.
Delphi 7 is probably like the last version I would have felt that I knew most of it.
Yeah. Yep. I think that's a good.
So.
Yeah, because the Midas / data snap stuff was. Yep. Straightforward, powerful but straightforward. Data snap, web snap stuff was there as a web broker.
And I think the old data snap is actually easier to use than the new one in many ways.
True.
But of course, it's not cross-platform or anything like that.
No, it's not.
It's based on COM, so.
Yeah. Oh well.
Yeah. What sort of technologies are you into in terms of? I mean, obviously you're very much dependency injection and things like that.
Oh yeah. Lately I've been doing a lot of REST API work and trying to learn how to build REST APIs that are secure and using authentication and authorization. That's a big part of what we're doing in our work at Gateway Ticketing.
Okay, are you doing that with Red Server or?
We are not, sadly. I wish we were. I've been doing some Node work and a lot of Web API, .NET Core stuff.
Okay.
But at work, we have a framework that we use that we wrote internally to turn our Delphi classes into REST API classes pretty straightforwardly. And it's not that far off from what RAD server is. It uses attributes and different things to create endpoints So our process of migrating our Delphi code to be a REST-based server is pretty straightforward. Although I suspect had we gone through with RAD server, we would have been having an even easier time with it.
Yeah, so, I've not had a chance to play around with RAD server yet, so I haven't thought of a project to take advantage of it.
I've looked at it, and it is a powerful REST API endpoint creation tool. I mean, it brings the full power of Delphi to the REST API. So if you are looking to build a REST API, RAD server is probably one of your better choices in terms of ease of development and ease of conversion of existing code to become a REST API. So it works pretty well.
Okay.
JSON support is really strong. Delphi's JSON support is superb, really, and I'd recommend it.
Okay. Yeah, when I get some time, I was just got a huge backlog of things I wanted to do.
There's always a big backlog in
Code Faster in Delphi, of course, that's almost published. Code Better in Delphi, which is more along the lines of your books, but more, do a lot of stuff with tooling, such as refactoring and using things like Pascal Analyzer to analyze code and find potential problems, fix insight, and
that's fantastic.
And various things like that. So so that's about half written. It was originally one book, but someone recommended I split it in two.
Oh, okay.
And now, Code Faster in Delphi is now bigger than the original. Original text. So which is quite interesting.
Good. That's great.
So, Do you use any IDE plugins?
I use GExperts extensively. I use the Navigator tool from Parnassus, as well as the bookmarks. I love the bookmarks. Really, really, very helpful. I think if you mastered that bookmarks keyboard setting, you could really fly through your code.
Yeah, I use the traditional bookmarks extensively. I need to learn the new keyboard shortcuts and make them. Just Control B to set a bookmark, for instance, and the bookmark stack.
The bookmark stack is really, really powerful. You just you can really fly through your code where you were, back and forth from where you were, where you've been, where you're going,
so
forward and
backwards. Those Parnassus tools now, they've been acquired by Embarcadero, and
I know,
they get it package manager. They might even be integrated into a future version, possibly.
That's a great plan on their part. Yeah, that's a good idea on their part.
I mean, they've acquired a few. I mean, they acquired Castalia a few years back.
Yeah, that's another great IDE plugin. Yeah.
Yeah, and
I've never used CN Wizards or CNPAC, so I need to look into that.
Yeah, no, it's very brilliant. The the structural highlighting in that is a lot more advanced than the one in Delphi.
Oh, really? Okay.
And I sort of really appreciate that. And it does make reading code a lot easier. Particularly, there's a thing where if you have the cursor in a symbol, it highlights wherever else that symbol is on the screen.
Okay.
So it makes it easier to find, other places that it's used, and then if you're needing to change it or.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. That's
great. Whenever I don't have it installed, I miss that quite a lot. So strangely,
some of the guys on our team won't work with a new IDE unless there's a GExperts version, because they like the procedures box, the one that brings up the list of procedures, and they navigate through their code using that, as opposed to Control F find and what you have to.
Yep, I think it might have been introduced in Rio, but they have a lot of sort of search bar that lists all the procedures and all the all the procedures in the project, or it might be just open files. I can't remember, but yeah, I'd mentioned that in the book as well.
Oh, good.
And it's quite interesting because you get used to using Delphi in a certain way, and then these fantastic new tools get introduced, and you just kind of your mind, you can see them at the top of the editor, but your mind just blanks them out.
Yeah, it takes a lot to teach yourself a new way of doing things, but
yeah,
oftentimes that time spent learning and educating yourself on the new stuff is time well spent. Yeah.
Yeah.
And a time saver in the long run.
Both from being able to just code faster, and also keeping the mental flow going. You're not having to pause to do some task that there isn't already a shortcut for or something like that.
Yeah, that's very important. It's very important. You can save yourself a lot of time by taking the time to teach yourself code navigation. Absolutely. Unfortunately, I'm not really a keyboard guy as much. I'm a mouse to keyboard kind of thing.
Okay.
And I envy those people who know all the keyboard shortcuts. I preach the gospel of learning keyboard shortcuts, but I am not very good at it doing it myself.
And writing this book, there's a whole bunch of keyboard shortcuts that came across that I was completely unaware of, and think, I should really learn those, but
yeah.
It's just a matter of sitting down and practicing with them.
Oh yeah.
And I think a lot of it, you really need to practice rather than try and use them. Try to remember to use them. You have to kind of internalize them first, and then use them.
Yeah.
So it's kind of good to know a few code katas that you can bash out really quickly,
yes,
and then just try variations on how to write it.
Yeah, well, I'll look forward to seeing your book. It sounds like a real productivity booster, and I'm all in favor of productivity boosters.
I'm hoping so. I'm hoping people will enjoy it and find it useful.
Yeah, absolutely. So, can't believe it won't be useful. That's for sure.
Yeah, as you say, it's a ridiculous amount of effort to write a book.
It is. Do you write at home? I wrote.
Yes.
Most of my books at the local Burger King on Saturday and Sunday mornings. I'd get up really early on Saturday and Sunday mornings before my family got up, and I'd go to Burger King and I'd drink obscene amounts of Diet Coke and I'd write my books.
Yeah, load up on caffeine.
Jacked up on caffeine. Yeah, my books are all caffeine-laden books. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah. So. Yes, I've kind of gone through phases of because I've been working on it for over a year now, and I've had large breaks with sort of pregnancy and then baby. Sure. So it's getting sort of in and out of it, but I really need to just get that last little bit done and get it published.
Yep, the last 5% takes 95% of the time. I hate to break it to you.
Yeah, I think I think in terms of editing, that's now mostly sorted.
Yeah.
I need a bit more technical review on the code samples and things like that. Make sure I'm not.
There's plenty of people that would
overly verbose and that kind of thing with my code.
Yeah, there's plenty of people that would love the technical review of your book, I'm sure.
Yeah. Danny Wind is currently having a look.
Oh, can't do much better than that. Yeah.
Yeah, Holger Flick has volunteered as well. So.
You'll do well. That's great.
So I've already had Malcolm Groves has looked over it.
Great.
Oh, gosh, someone else just finished. I'd have to look in I've been keeping writing some names in the
credits. Write the names down because you want to make sure that all the people who helped you along get credit.
Yeah, absolutely, because they've been fantastic. It's interesting, and also another thing I'd recommend if anyone's writing a book is install Grammarly. That spots so many redundant words and
Yes.
and things like that. That you just kind of, and having written, and I think I had 2 people read over it. Mike O'Reilly was the other person who.
Oh, really? Okay.
Read it, yeah. And he's spotted quite a lot.
Even after that, even after the second and third person has written it, you'll still find typos.
Yeah.
And grammar mistake. Yeah, Grammarly is worth its weight in gold. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think it's like about $140 a year or something.
Yeah, like
and
$11.
It's already paid for itself. It's just.
Oh. Absolutely, no question about it. Yeah, no doubt about it at all.
Is there any other tools you used when you were writing?
GitHub. I wrote my book on GitHub. I'd store it on GitHub, run it on GitHub, and then LeanPub would pull from whenever I checked in, and I could check in and then do a preview of the book and see how the book is looking coming along. And it just pulled directly from my GitHub repository, which was really cool.
Okay, that's pretty smart.
Yeah, because it's all text, right? The markdown is all text, so you can keep your book in a repository, and you can get all the benefits of a source code control, source control management, and all that good stuff. And I'm trying to think what else I used. I used Visual Studio Code a lot to write it. Use Google Docs to share a lot of the content for people to read. What else? Surprisingly, I don't think I used Word at all, which most people found very strange. But once I found LeanPub was a revelation, because then you can just use a really powerful text editor. You didn't have to have any special word processing skills, because Markdown is completely ASCII text based, and it worked out really well. So
yeah, I'd have to work out some way of converting the Google Doc to Markdown.
There might be a plugin for that. You never know.
Yeah, I think there is, and I think it's on their paid subscription level of it. But I don't have to do that for probably a few months.
And you can cancel. There you go.
Yeah, go back to the free one. is probably get that book published and then go up to the paid one again once I need to. Yeah. But yeah, that's
LeanPub ended up doing most of the heavy lifting for me. I just wrote and markup, and then it did all the heavy lifting of producing all the print-ready PDFs and PDF versions and Mobi versions and all that kind of thing. And if you sell your electronic books, your ebooks that way, they have an interesting pricing model. You can set the floor price, the recommended price, and the high price, so people can move the scroller, and you make more money on LeanPub than any other platform that I've found. So.
Okay. All right. Well, I might reconsider Kindle Direct.
Well, it's worth looking at. Yeah.
I think. I mean, the Kindle Direct, you get to keep 35%. I think.
It's much higher on.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. On LeanPub, it's a lot higher. But
yeah,
Kindle Direct will publish a physical book for you. Yeah. So. And you can manage your pricing. You manage it yourself, which is really nice. You're not dependent on somebody else to make changes and updates and things like that. So. I'm not disparaging Kindle Direct at all. I use Kindle Direct for publishing my physical books. And they distribute them worldwide. They print them on demand. Do a great job. It's very, very powerful.
Right. And so you just take the PDF from LeanPub straight into Kindle Direct. Okay.
Yep. They have a LeanPub. I think I mentioned this. LeanPub has a print-ready version, which offsets the pages, so that when you flip the book open, the pages, there's the gap in the middle. You flip the book open, pages are set out to the right and to the left a little bit. So, yeah.
Yeah, I suppose it's position of page numbers and things like that, and
does all that.
Titles and things. Yeah.
Does all of that. Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Well, I will have a stronger think about LeanPub.
Okay. All right. Good. Give it a look, and that's fine.
Yeah.
And it's run by two guys. Two guys run it, and it's very good, very powerful. Very, very friendly. The guys that run it are really good guys and very helpful. If you have any questions or problems or anything at all, they let you know.
Okay. Yes. Okay. Well, yeah. So maybe I'll do a similar thing. I've got some, formatting ideas I want to implement, which might be a bit challenging with
okay.
LeanPub, but that's probably more important to get the book out.
LeanPub. The one limitation is that the formatting options are somewhat limited, but they make a point of supporting writing coding books, and so they have features inside their markup language that support writing coding books. So
okay,
good.
I will. I will investigate further in that case.
Look for yourself.
Yes.
Don't take my word for it.
Yeah. Are you working? Have you got any projects at home you're working on?
I'm actually working on some Angular stuff. I've been working on web development in Angular a little bit as a side project, and I've been really enjoying that. I've taught tutorials at the Philly Code Camp last 3 or 4 times, and I was scheduled to do one in April, but it got canceled, unfortunately. And I'm continuing to constantly keep up with the latest and greatest in Delphi, and always looking for another book opportunity. So we'll see.
Okay. Well, maybe once I've got my my books out of the way, we could co-write something or something like that.
That'd be great.
A fun exercise.
Oh, yeah. Sure.
Something short, I think, would probably be a good idea.
Okay. Very good. Very good.
Yeah. Yeah. And how's so? Yeah, it's the middle of COVID-19 still.
Yes.
New Zealand is starting to come out of it a little bit.
Good.
Like you can go and get go out to get a takeaway meal, for instance. Now I can't go to a restaurant yet, but and anyone who can work from home has to work from home. But those who can't can go back to work, but they've got to have 2 meter spacing and that kind of thing. And
my company's all working from home, and they're talking about sometime in late May letting businesses start opening back up. So it all depends on infection rates and things like that. So it's probably very similar.
Yeah. I think it could be a long time before things are back to normal.
I think so.
And quite often pandemics have the sort of a second hump. So they'll come around the following year again, or following season, sort of summer, winter
I hope
type
not.
thing. So, and a lot of the pandemics in recent history have done that. So that might be an issue. And the big scary thing is maybe this is the new normal, that we're going to have regular pandemics until we come up with appropriate antivirals that are
let's not talk about that.
I think it's worth it's kind of the plan for the worst, hope for the best kind of thing. I think business
that's always wise. That's always a wise way to go, no matter what you're doing.
Yeah, I think long-term businesses should focus, at least have a focus on their workers being able to work from home going forward.
Yeah.
And I think this is, some interesting things that have happened because of COVID-19 in terms of, the drastically reduced pollution in cities and things like that.
Yeah.
And we had a
auto insurance rates going down.
Yeah.
My auto insurance company just sent me a letter saying they're going to refund a big chunk of my premium because nobody's having accidents. The number of car accidents is way down. Yeah.
Drove my car for the first time in about 6 weeks last night. So.
Oh wow! Okay. Yeah.
Mine started. My wife's battery, her car, the battery's dead. So. Just about charging that. When the weather's a little bit finer, it's raining today. So.
Oh wow! It's beautiful here today. So. I got outside a little bit, went for a walk, and had a nice evening. Had a nice morning.
Yeah, it's quite. There's interesting phenomenon with the fewer clouds, with them not being seeded by contrails.
Oh, really?
Not as many planes flying, so get more sunnier days.
Oh, wow.
So there was something that was that occurred during 9/11, but wasn't really, that couldn't be certain. But and the flip side of that is that because fewer clouds, you have hotter weather.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, so you get the can be a bit bad in terms of heat waves and things like that. But
oh yeah, yeah. Well, I could use the heat wave. I'm a little tired of rain and cold here in Philadelphia. It's springtime for us. It's fall for you, I'm sure. So.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's starting to get a bit colder. We have the fire going a few times.
Oh yeah. Okay.
So it was going much of yesterday. Yeah, and we had very heavy rain yesterday, but I haven't checked our river to see if it has flooded too much. So
hope not. I hope not.
Yeah, I've had some problems with erosion, which trying to mitigate it. We planted a whole heap of willow poles, about 40 willow poles or something.
Oh wow! Okay.
But unfortunately, the cows decided to strip the bark. So that they all pretty much all died, which is very frustrating because it's quite a bit of effort to put them in. But oh well.
I bet.
Try again.
Yeah. Oh, well.
Try again this spring, I think.
Okay.
So
very good.
Yeah. So
all right then.
Yeah. What was that?
I said all right then.
Oh, okay.
That's good.
Yeah. Yeah. Have you done much mobile development?
I have not done any mobile development.
Yeah. I've not done much either. I've been playing around.
Very remiss. Yeah, I played around with it and I built a couple of apps, put them on my Android phone and things like that. But I have not done much mobile development, which is interesting. I've been much more interested in web and obviously Delphi development, regular straight up Windows development, Delphi development.
Yeah, so. That's my main focus as well. The Windows. So most of the jobs I've had have been on desktop applications, sort of or client server, sort of really complicated real time transaction based things.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, so I've got a few apps which are not finished enough to be able to put in the App Store.
Oh yeah,
sort of,
yeah.
I tried, a few things like I wrote a Minesweeper clone, which was fairly easy to write. If anyone wants to write something, it's quite a reasonable challenge. I think the hardest thing was mimicking the middle click with the two mouse buttons.
Oh yeah.
Middle click.
Yeah.
If you're familiar with doing, Minesweeper really fast.
Oh yeah. No, I played Minesweeper back in the day. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. So that was kind of that, and then but the interface on Android is really clunky because there's no right click and no middle click. So
there's just press and long press, right?
Yeah, and you could do gestures and things like that as well, potentially to mark flags. But yeah, I don't know. I have to finish it off and try and get in the App Store. I mean, it's not something anyone will probably want to play, but there's much better clones.
Very good
in the App Store already. But this is good to have the experience of getting stuff in there.
All right. Well, listen, it's dinner time here. I'm getting hungry.
Okay.
I'm gonna,
no worries.
Bring her to an end here. But I appreciate your time, and it's good to talk to you. It's good to see you.
Likewise. Thank you for chatting. It's been good.
Appreciate it. I appreciate the opportunity to talk about my books, which I always like to do, and talk about your books too. I'm very pleased to do that. Look forward to seeing it.
Okay, I'll send you a link today.
Very good. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Okay. Well, I will end the recording.
Then. Okay. Bye-bye. Thank you.